powered by Moksha Media.
Hello everybody, welcome to Magnificent Mogul, the brand that promotes entrepreneurs. Today I have with me Miss Melvina Hayes, otherwise known as Melvina Mpowers. Hey, how you doing, Mel?
Good, Daymond. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Mel is a writer and copy editor, as well as a brand development specialist. Mel also has experience with events marketing and philanthropy. Mel has recently teamed with me and Moksha Media in order to develop a brand new series of events titled the Star Soul Suite Series. You excited about that?
Very much so.
I am too.
We got our first one coming up.
Yes. And we're looking forward to promoting.
Very much, yes.
Yeah, and Melvina is contracting with Moksha Media in order to be a PR agent. We're looking for some very exciting things to come out of that relationship this year in 2017. So we're going to talk all about that today on Magnificent Mogul. You ready to get started with your interview?
I'm so ready for this.
Fantastic. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So, Mel, let me tell you, I just want to first of all thank you for coming on board and becoming a part of Magnificent Mogul.
Absolutely. I'm honored to do so.
Yeah.
I love you and Stan. You already know how we
I love you too.
like we intended. You already know how that was. Stan was like, no, you go talk. I'm like, you gonna make me talk? Here I go. I'm so very much looking forward to working with Moksha.
Yeah, I just want to say, just even before I dive into these questions, I so much appreciate you and all that you stand for. So I'm looking for some fantastic work to come out of our relationship. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, let's go ahead and get started with this interview. So first of all, Mel, what would you like for everybody watching this video to know about you personally? Who is Mel? And tell us all about your suite of entrepreneurial services.
Absolutely. That's a loaded question. Well, I'll say this. From a young age, my dad reared me to be entrepreneurial, because that's his frame of mind. And so for me, basically, what an entrepreneur is someone who is creative around generating multiple streams of income.
Right.
And so I started that, excuse me, when I was young. It's so funny, and I hope there are no remnants of this group that my brother and I had when we were young. We were called the Double Goose Crew. I can't get it out.
Sounds interesting.
Yes,
sounds fun too.
Yes, I can't even imagine. So I had my pink Double Goose, and he had his black Double Goose, and we were the Double Goose Crew rapping in our den.
Oh no, rapping!
Horrible. It was horrible. My dad copywrote the song. And
really?
So anyway, it was really a good experience for me, and being an entrepreneur and what that is to have intellectual property.
Yeah.
And performing. And we went on, what was that called? Oh, I cannot think of the name of it. It was a local TV show in Oakland.
What?
And everybody went on that show that was from the Bay, and you got your Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yes, in the green room. And anyway, my dad took us on that show. So anyway, that was my first taste of it. And then in my early 20s, I started to invest in property.
Oh, cool.
So I became a real estate investor. I consider that different than being a homeowner.
Yeah.
Because
it's very different.
Yeah, I had 2 properties ultimately and 5 units, and I was a landlord. So, I learned that early on. And then just over the years, really just aligning myself with my passion.
Yeah.
And
that being passion being, what's your passion?
Writing, creating, acting. And I've been acting actually. So yeah, I started when I was 5.
Gotcha.
So I was on a TV show when I was 5 called Romper Room in the Bay Area, limousine service and everything. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize, I don't think to the degree that I was a creative person at that point.
Yeah.
But definitely since then, over the years, writing is a passion of mine.
Yeah.
Expressing experiences that other people can benefit from. It's almost really like leveraging time. So I can sit here, Daymond, and I can tell you a story of something that I have dealt with or experienced, or something that I saw, or something that's funny.
Yeah.
And that story is between you and I. But I can write that story and publish it, and it can benefit so many more people.
Yes.
Or even I can go to a venue and get on a mic and speak it, and it can benefit so many people. So
exactly.
That is one of my passions.
Gotcha.
And I've learned that we can have multiple.
Oh yeah,
we can have multiple
absolutely.
passions, but definitely that.
You know my story, you know.
So, absolutely.
Well, you know, I'm sure we share an experience, Mel, because you're a creative person like I am. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we just have what I call this creative chaos going on in our minds. And sometimes we forget to sort of put some structure or infrastructure behind all of our creativity. It's like we have a whole bunch of services that we want to provide and things we want to do, but we sometimes lack putting the structure behind it. Can you just share that experience? Because I know we've had personal conversations, but how has that been, you know, just putting structure and infrastructure behind your service suite?
Oh, wait, you have said something there. That in and of itself can be a show, a class, a series, encyclopedia.
Well, we might have to do that.
I'm saying. No, seriously. For artistic people, you know, we had a conversation with Tyra Goodley not too long ago, and the same thing, you know, I'm not even going to say necessarily the safest place, but I will say a safe place, the comfortable place, an easy place for a creative person to be is in that creative space.
Yes.
And so to bring structure to it, it can be challenging.
Yeah.
Now, I have a type A personality, and so I'm very much structured, and I thrive in that zone. So just kind of bringing those two together has kind of been interesting for me. It helps. Partnership and collaboration helps for me. And so, for instance, in working with you in Moksha Media to bring a talent and or a skill set or experience that I already have to a structure that is already in place.
Right.
That is a seamless transition for me, and that's the easiest way to go. But other than that, I've just had to be disciplined in order to do that. And for me, that looks like having a blog, you know, MelvinaMpowers.com, and telling myself to write often. It looks like getting in an MFA program, a Master in Fine Arts program in Writing and Consciousness. I graduated in 2014 because it's easy to write because I love to write. It's easy to perform for people, but that helped kind of generate structure for me. Particularly structure a story, you know. That became a book. And then just really holding myself accountable, like setting, you know, deadlines and holding myself accountable. And I also have to be comfortable with who I am in my creative process, because when you do that, I mean, art is not objective. So there's no like right or wrong. So for me, getting something done, once I say I'm going to have it done, that is a goal for me, that I was able to get that done. So, and it's a growing process. So I
love what you said about, you know, collaboration and discipline. I think that's probably like the two key things that people always have to remember when they move into entrepreneurialism, which are actually pretty hard. Like you just can't say that I'm going to be an entrepreneur and not think about how much discipline and dedication you have when you make that decision. No,
you absolutely can't. And then I think the thing too, when you marry being an entrepreneur with being a creative person, right? Because it's a different set of skills that are required to manage, let's say, an accounting business or to be a financial advisor. But if you're a creative person, you have to go over and beyond above to make sure that you have the structures in place. You know what it's like? It's like going into your kitchen and coming up with this 5-course meal and never serving it. You know, that's what it can be like, you know, because I can just write and write and write and write, and you have to be able to serve it up. And so that's kind of where
that's a fantastic analogy. I never thought about it like that, but that's awesome.
I have to have analogies. Again, that's not mine. I have
Well, so
anecdotes to work. Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about our new endeavors as a team. So I just mentioned that we got, Star So Sweet coming up. And one of the things that we really want to do with that series of events is promote creative entrepreneurs and creative talent, budding creative talent. But I want to take the time to reflect back to you. What do you see Star So Sweet doing for you, as one of the creators of that series of events? Like, where do you see it going, and why do you think we need it here in Dallas?
Wow. Okay. So that's good. Two really good questions.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that you've had to talk to me about, and a couple of people have had to talk to me about, I've heard it from a few different directions, is not giving away all of my services.
Yeah.
And for me, Star So Sweet is one way to monetize wanting to help people.
Gotcha.
Okay? So I know the plight of an artist, and I know how challenging it can be to be acknowledged, to build an audience, to build a network, and to monetize your product and or service. And so Star So Sweet is an opportunity for artists to do that in the DFW area.
Right.
It's a platform for artists to showcase their talent, for them to sell their wares.
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel good about being able to do. In addition to the fact that I have, I'm just really curious about people anyway.
Yeah.
And
Me
so
too.
I think,
I'm like that.
yeah, so I think that intrigue is what also helps me as a host and facilitator, because I think they're critical questions, and these are questions as an artist that you may not necessarily give voice to, again, just in your process. So Star So Sweet is a platform to showcase talent and to give voice to your process, ideally to build your audience, and then to bridge the gap between artists and corporations, between artists and their potential audience.
Right.
So any opportunity for a creative person to have exposure, I'm all for that. And that's what I see Star So Sweet becoming that brand in the DFW area and ultimately beyond. So I would love to have had a Star So Sweet the way I envision it in my life like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that, because one of the places that I think people benefit, you come from a place of, you've been there, so you know what to inject into Star So Sweet so that other artists can come after you and sort of kind of, leverage what you've learned, right?
You have no idea.
Yeah.
It took me, I would say, over a decade of performing for the sake of performing.
Yeah.
Like, I would even write pieces and structure performances based on a theme, of a corporation, certain Greek organizations that do wonderful work for the community. So obviously I would love to participate and give, be of service. But you have no idea. I just think of like a comedy show that I was asked to perform at, and my piece was a bit of a departure from the comedy. But negotiating salary, what's your worth, like all of that stuff. Right. And for me, it just boils down to sometimes I'll just take the exposure, like I'll just do it, And sometimes that's a choice too that you have to make. It's a business decision that you have to make to do something for free. But I think that based on some of the things that I see on TV, and some of the things that I even see on the internet, that artists should be earning money and monetizing their talent more so than they are. And I think it's what you said. It's not only the budding artists, but the ones, like we've discussed, that have some integrity and character behind what it is that they're doing. They have attention behind what it is that they're doing. So I stand for that.
Absolutely. Well, I stand by you.
All right. We stand together, okay?
All right, well, we're going to continue right after this short break, and we're going to be right back with some more questions right after this advertisement.
Powered by Moksha Media. beds in your loft. Simply sensational, simply harsh.
And we're back. So, Mel, you ready for some more questions?
Definitely.
All right. So, let me jump right into it. Let's offer the viewers something to take home after watching this video. So, in the grand scheme of things, what would you say is your single most important lesson that you've learned after embarking on all of your entrepreneurial endeavors?
Just one? Okay.
Two?
Okay. If I had to pick one, if I had to pick one, I would say commitment, determination, perseverance. You have to continue to put one foot in front of the other. It is not always going to be easy. And it's really interesting because last night Denzel Washington said something on the NAACP awards that really resonated with me. And he said, ease is, how did he say it? Ease is a threat, the greatest threat to progress. So you really have to stick with it. Fail forward, as Tavis Smiley would say. I think about people who have informed my practice and just have been, mentors to me. Iyanla Van Zant.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And just Louise L. Hay, things that they have been through in life, and they have just continued to persevere. And I just think about some of the things that Iyanla Van Zant has been through, and I'm like, I would have folded long ago, potentially. But just to continue to persevere, Louise L. Hay, speaking of some of the things that she's been through and not really knowing what her exact calling was and establishing her publishing company into her early 70s. You know what I mean? And so for me, that is what I would say, because entrepreneurialism is much like a relationship,
it is.
Much like the weather. And so if it is something that you're passionate about, something that you are committed to doing, I would just say commit and just continue to put one foot in front of the other.
Absolutely.
Whether you have a goal for yourself each day, each week, each month, do something. And we always have the right to change our minds. Do you have an example that you can share with us where it was a definite moment where you think you learned something and you will take that lesson to the stage if you have to? Yes. As it relates to being an entrepreneur. Well, one of the things that I learned is that direct sales is not for me. Yeah. Now, I love multiple streams of income, and direct sales is one of the easiest ways, and people are very successful at direct sales, and that becomes a primary source of income for some people. But I learned, I'm not even going to say early on, it took a few times. I didn't quit. And I made more money than it cost me, It
was just the unhappiness. It was just a state of you just felt like it wasn't your calling? Or?
It's not my calling. You just have to know who you are.
Gotcha.
Like, you have to know who you are. You have to know what you're called to do. And for me, that doesn't start with money. Like, I can't serve money. And that might sound counterintuitive to say, but in order for me to have happy, and that probably is, that creative element of who I am, but in order for me to have happiness in my life, I have to enjoy what I do more often than not. And direct sales was not it for me because I just couldn't get my mind wrapped around it being about the other person. For me, it was still at the end of the day, about who is in my downline, how much do they make? I could never get my mind wrapped around. You're supposed to be helping people because ultimately that's what you're supposed to be doing. Start so sweet, I can wrap my mind around that helping somebody. For me,
Absolutely. At some point, if you're just working for money, you're selling your soul, right?
Absolutely.
So I understand. You have an LLC that you just recently started. So speaking of, putting structure behind some of your efforts, one of the questions that you answered earlier, I know that third Eye Am LLC has been established.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to take some time to talk about that?
Yes. Well, Third Eye Am is a launch pad for at least two directions that I want to go in. Again, creating structure for myself as a creative person. So my writing and editing services will be an entity and or services and or products that are offered by Third Eye Am. So it's just something I've just been doing as Melvina for people. So that is now going to be
now you want to put some rigor
an element of my And then definitely my PR consulting is what I'm going to be doing under Third Eye Am. So I want to become a brand that offers meticulous. Like I didn't even mean to be this way, Daymond. Like I will just see something, I'll just see something. I'm like, that comma's not supposed to be there.
Type A's, it's always something about a type A.
Yes. So I just want to be able to help people with that because first impressions are lasting. And in the era that we're in with a lot of electronic communication, sometimes you are sending something, text, or a representation of yourself electronically before you can even speak to somebody. So I just want to use my services in that way, and that's what I've been doing. So just using Third Eye Am to do that and become known for that, and then the PR services that I offer, and I am definitely growing in that regard. There's so much opportunity here in the DFW area and beyond. Working with you and Moksha Media is going to create an opportunity for me to continue to grow in PR because again, those are services that I've just been giving away for the most part, just because it's like something I love.
So now it's just time to take it to another level. It's
time to take it to another level, and that's just that business element. Obviously, is you have to just have an entity to do that.
But I'm ready.
So, yes, indeed. You stay ready. You stay ready.
Absolutely. What's in the name? Tell us about Third Eye Am. Where did that come from?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I am very much spiritually driven and guided. And so that's the reference to the third eye.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
And then there's spiritual connotations to I am. Let me say religious connotations.
Right. Religious,
to I am, but also for me, I'm more spiritual than religious.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I do religiously, honestly, but I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know what my worth is. I know the power of my word. And so between spiritual guidance and knowing and calling who I am, third I am. So whatever that is that I'm getting, downloading is what I call it, from spirit, intuition, from my ancestors, my spirit guides, that I am.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have that question on, but I thought I would ask.
Yeah.
So, this is like an impromptu moment. So no wonder we connected so well, because a lot of the things that you said, that's really what I stand for. I may not say them that way, but I'm
like
very
what?
spiritual too.
You like
No, it's all about you. It's all about you. So, Mel, I know that you are a very spiritual person. I just didn't expect for you to answer the question that way. But one of the things that really I think has helped our friendship is the fact that I know how spiritual you are, and also you have a very, very strong sense of self.
Yes.
How has your spirituality and your sense of who you are added to your current success?
Well, that's a really good question. I think that in order to create success, you have to be able to see it.
Yeah.
And so you have to be confident and have faith operating in the unknown, because you can know what it is that you want. And this is so funny. This is something that a jewel that I got from Les Brown. It's like, you don't have to know how, you just have to know what. Right. So for me, and it's not easy sometimes working with, people as far as collaborating, being spiritually driven in that way, because for me sometimes I won't necessarily know. I'll give you a prime example how I got here to Dallas, right, from the Bay Area. I didn't plan that out. I didn't plan it at all. I just knew at a certain point where I was at, I was done there.
Gotcha.
I was like, I was done there. And then I also knew at a certain point when it was time to get in my car and drive. And that's just because I have a practice of being still and listening. And since I have been here in Dallas, opportunity has just presented itself to me it just abounds.
Wow.
More so than ever. Now I've created opportunity. Like I said, my dad raised me to be that way. My mom also, she was a nurse as a young girl. I think she was 19 by the time she had me. She had my two brothers when she was 17. Mm-hmm. She became an RN. She worked 2 jobs. She raised 3 children. And so I had seen hustle in my family. And so I've always had that hustle in me too. But it's something about growing up in the spirit and becoming a spiritual woman that makes my work smarter and not harder.
I can see that. Yeah.
So I just listen and I just go in that direction. And I think, and I don't know all the answers to that. See, and there's mystery, obviously in spirituality, but I think that it comes from the desires of my heart. Mm-hmm. And then I just sit with that. And then I pray. I have spiritual practice at least every morning. And then I listen and I just get direction and I go.
Wow. That's fantastic.
So it's a lot of the, it's just being comfortable and having faith in the unknown, because the fact of the matter is, Daymond, we don't know what's going next.
We don't. I love the way that you answered that question, and I'm glad that we're able to share that answer on camera. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, we don't really understand spirituality, but I will say that even from my own personal experience, spirituality creates. And I'll just put a period behind it. Spirituality creates. Because I think a lot of times people don't understand that creative process, and we can't answer, right?
No.
But that's where it comes from.
It absolutely does. And people don't even realize sometimes that they are creating unconsciously.
That's right.
They don't realize it, but you still are creating. Yeah. So just definitely wanting to be very aware and awake in what it is that I am creating in my life.
Fantastic.
So, yes. Yeah. It's so interesting because I didn't even mention as far as Third I Am is concerned, because I published my book before establishing Third I Am, but I will also be marketing and promoting Adrenaline Rush 742, which is my debut novel through my business entity as well. Okay. And that is going to be an opportunity for me.
Okay. All right.
Doing that because I had it wasn't easy, but it was a very enjoyable and meaningful and purposeful process writing that book because it was derived from a personal story of mine and then a lot of young women that I work with in Oakland Unified School District. And so that part was the fulfilling part. And now it's like the marketing, promotions, distribution for that.
Got you. Well, I can't wait to see what that looks like.
Yes, indeed.
Well, Mel, thank you so much for being here and taking part in the Magnificent Mogul brand. I'm so happy that you came on board. I'm looking so much to the future and working with you with Star Soul Suite and everything else we have going on.
Yes, indeed.
So you want to take time to tell everybody what your social media links are so they can find you online?
Absolutely. I am Melvina Mpowers on Facebook, Melvina Mpowers on Instagram, and on Twitter. I'm more active on Facebook and Instagram, to be honest. You can also go to about.me/Melvina Mpowers, and that Mpowers is the letter M, Powers, and my book is the landing page for it is AdrenalineRush742.com.
All right. Until next time.
Indeed. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Absolutely. That's a wrap.